Alright, let's just let that focus a bit. I feel like I look real white. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm saying welcome back because obviously you are returning from my previous amazing videos to come and check this one out. Today, something I realized since my YouTube has kind of taken off, I realized that I haven't actually done an intro and spoken about myself. People are probably like, who is this chick? I am predominantly over on Instagram. This has been a really commonly asked or requested video to put together for you guys. So it's about my own journey, my own transformation, which has been like this, as so many of them are. Most of them are like that. So I wanted to just kind of, I feel like it's gonna be long. I don't want it to be long and boring. So I am gonna like chop through and go really fast through some parts, and if there's anything you guys want me to dive deeper into, which I feel like there will be because there's a bit of stuff on hormones and fat loss stuff, just put it in the comments and I will make another video that is more specific to that topic. So this is just going to be like an overview of who I am and how I got to where I am today. Just a little recap of who I am if you don't know. My name is Soph and I'm 29 years old. Pause for reaction, because a lot of people don't think I'm that old, and you're one of those people, right? I'm originally from Victoria, Melbourne, Australia, wherever you come from in the world. Australia, down south. And I moved to Sydney, where I currently live, 2 years ago. I was working full-time in like an influencer marketing company. I have my degree in architecture, such a random mix. And then I realized I was super passionate about health and fitness and training. So I got certified in that. And now I'm an online health coach and I've got my own business. I work for myself, Soph Active Life, which is my Instagram handle. And now I just like create really cool content and create programs for girls and help girls transform their bodies and lives like I transformed my own. I am gonna jump into that. Let's start with baby Soph. So in school I was tiny. I was 50 kilos, which is 110 pounds. So I was always had quite a small frame. I didn't do exercise consistently or anything. I just did like school sport. I was just always slim. So I never worried about my weight in school. And then when I left school, I moved to the UK for 1 year. I did a gap year, as so many of us Aussies do. And I stacked on 12 kilos. So I went from 50 kilos to 62 kilos by the end of the year. And that was a result of eating the boarding school food and like just not moving. Even though my movement at school was minimal, it was enough to keep me at maintenance. But moving to the UK, the winter, oh my god, I do not know how you guys survive the winter in the UK. We just weren't moving as much. I was drinking heaps of alcohol, I was eating random food that was more processed. It was too much for my body and I just stacked it on. Bad times. So when I came back, just alone getting back into my routine of like eating foods that I used to eat and moving more and starting university, I basically lost all of that weight. So that was, you know, great. And I wasn't too fixated on my weight at that point either. I was just starting at uni. That was all new and exciting. So I came back from the UK at the end of 2008 and then I started university. That was all fine. Okay, and then something really hectic happened. So the end of 2010, start of 2011, I went in to get general surgery to see if I had endometriosis. I'm gonna make an entirely other vlog on this because this is a huge part of me and a lot of people ask about my scar. So my scar was actually from the surgery going wrong. They punctured my bowel and I went home to recover for a week. No one knew. Came back, had to get emergency surgery, had surgery to my bowel, surgery to my lungs because the infection somehow spread. I was in hospital in intensive care, almost died, blah, blah, blah. It's a big whole saga. So that all happened when I was in hospital for like, I was in there for a month. I lost a lot of fat, I lost a lot of muscle, and I was just like this little bag of bones. Like, ugh, I was so sick. Anyway, when I was in hospital, I was like, oh my God, health is so important, must be health. So I really just wanted to be strong and focus on my health, because like, damn, when you're in hospital and you can't walk, you can't eat, you're being fed through a tube, like you're so helpless. So I realized the importance of health then, obviously. I got out of hospital in 2011. I was there for New Year's and Christmas, which was such a joy for me and my family. But you would think that would be the thing that like really got through to me and made me change the way I live my life. It actually didn't. I didn't really understand the severity of it whilst I was in there. Like, I was 21, so young. I'm still young, right? Throughout all of this time, I was on the contraceptive pill. I was on that because that helps with endometriosis pains, as well as like contraception. So was mum. And I decided to come off the pill when I got out of hospital. And in doing that, it kind of, I think, like, I'm making presumptions here because there was no one telling me what was actually going on, but we know our bodies better than anyone else. So going off the pill really played with my hormones. Like, they just went squiggly and crazy. And I did not even realize, but I just started gaining all this weight. And I realized when I was going on a holiday to Europe, so my hormones went crazy in 2013. And then I was going on a trip to Europe in 2014. I was trying on these clothes and I was like, nothing fits me. What the hell? And I realized I'd gained all this weight. And I was like, when did that happen without me even realizing? Like, it was crazy. I used to run, like after hospital, what I did to get fit, the only thing I knew to do was to run. So I would just run. And that was obviously really good at keeping me fit. I trained for like this 15-kilometer fun run. And then after that, I just stopped. So that's also contributed to the weight gain. And then I went to Europe. I was like really unhappy because it was summer in Europe and I was traveling with my friends, and I felt disgusting. Like, I had a lot of body fat on me, and I went from being tiny and ill in hospital to like gaining all this fat. I had this scar that I was quite uncomfortable with at that point in time. So I was really self-conscious. I was really like, it was really hard for me. Like, poor girl on a holiday in Europe. But honestly, I understand the impact that weight gain has on a woman. Like, it can be so awful, and it was. And then I came home and I was like, okay, like, I need to do something about this. I didn't know what to do, so I hired a personal trainer, and I was training with him 3 days a week. I was eating like not much food. I was like, people say they don't eat much food. I was honestly not eating much food. Like, I was eating super clean. My breakfast would be eggs, and then my lunch would be like some kind of lean protein and vegetables, and then my dinner would be the same. And I wasn't eating huge quantities, and I was exercising, but I was working for my dad at home as an architect at the time, so I was not really getting much movement other than the personal training sessions I was doing 3 times a week. So I did that for 2 months. I did not lose fat. My body changed a bit, it got a bit stronger, but I didn't lose the fat. And that was so hard. Like, feeling like you're doing everything right and nothing changing has got to be one of the most frustrating things to go through, because you're putting in the hard work, and then it's like, what is the point in doing something that's really hard when there is no result? I've been there. I've experienced it all when it comes to trying to take control of your health and fitness. And at this point, I was actually moving to Canada to do a snow season, and I was kind of like, you know, I really want to get fit for that and get in shape. I'm meeting new people. I don't want to be self-conscious. Anyway, moved to Canada, met an amazing group of friends. I was snowboarding every single day. I was drinking a lot of alcohol and partying and living off like 2-minute noodles. Health. See, I told you I did not get into health after hospital like you'd think I would. Anyway, I like obviously lost weight doing that because I was eating less and I was expending more energy, but my body composition was like a girl that like doesn't train or eat nutritiously. So I was like not getting the right nutrients for my body. I was not healthy. I was just kind of losing a bit of fat through a minor deficit, like expending more energy than food I was intaking. But it would have been such a up and down thing, because copious amounts of alcohol would spike your calorie count, and yeah, it was just not the best way to lose fat. Would not recommend. Zip. So I returned from Canada in 2014, I think it was, and I actually came home and I had no life direction. I didn't want to pursue architecture. I wasn't sure if I should go back to university and finish my master's. I was working a retail job and I think I was like 23. So I was like, oh my God, I'm 23, I should be doing something with my life. I shouldn't be in retail. No offense to anyone that's in retail, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I didn't enjoy it. So I was like, why am I doing something that I hate? And it was because I needed money. I needed to afford to live, pay rent, bills, etc. And I was just stuck in this rut and I was depressed. I was honestly so down, and you know, my weight had piled back on, and it was just like, I was just so unhappy. I was miserable. So I was exercising, like I was running a little bit. I was doing these, like, I bought this guide that was like 20-minute exercises that you did, and it would be like skipping and shit like that. And like I did that, but again, and like I would have had more movement because I was working retail, I was on my feet all the time, but I was miserable. I was so unhappy. I booked flights back to Canada, which I ended up cancelling because something in my gut told me to stay. And then I started seeing a naturopath to talk about my hormones, because I was like, classic person that can't lose fat. I'm like, there's got to be another reason. It can't be my diet and training because I'm doing it all right. Which in hindsight, I was not, with everything I know now, but I still think my hormone imbalances really played a huge role in my inability to lose fat. So I started seeing the naturopath and I did some blood tests, and she did find some weird things that could be reasons that were preventing me from fat loss. But what she actually gave me was a natural antidepressant, and I started taking that. I also started making changes in my life, taking control and responsibility for my life, and everything started to change. I was so stuck in this victim mindset that was like, my life sucks, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm passionate about, so I'm just gonna do nothing. I was living with my sister. It got to the point where it was like, okay, I need to take control. So I did. I found somewhere to live with a random. That was terrifying. I moved out, moved in with her. I started applying for architecture jobs because I was like, you know what, I need to figure out if this is really something I do or don't want to do. So I need to actually work in the field and see what this is all about. So I got my first full-time job in architecture. I moved out into a new place and I was taking these happy pills and all this fat came off. Honest to God, it was like all the serotonin and all the happiness, and it started to balance out my hormones. I started to become happy again and the fat just started to go. I still had a lot of body fat, but I wasn't anything like these inflamed big photos where you see me and I'm just carrying too much weight for my frame. I worked in this job 2015, and then in 2015 I moved again and I started Kayla Bikini Body Guide program. And I was just working out from home for the first year. All I was doing was her 3 or 4 workouts a week at home. I had some dumbbells and weight plates and then a step that I used at home, and I rode my bike to work, and my body changed a lot. Like I lost fat. I wasn't tracking nutrition or anything. I wasn't following any diet plans. I was just eating what I thought was a pretty good diet, and it was pretty good, but it was just too much food. So I was creating a very minor deficit with the amount of energy I was burning through by consistently training and riding my bike and being active. I went from this to this, doing BBG. And then it got to the point where I was like, okay, this can take me no further. I've stalled, I've plateaued. I feel like after this amount of time, I should be seeing more results. I then started seeing a lot on Instagram that people were weight training, and I was like, is this something that I should be doing to be taking things to the next level? So I got myself a personal trainer. I also had my macros calculated for me. I only get these done by people that you trust and, you know, good transformations or that you've heard through word of mouth, through a good experience, because anyone can calculate calories and macros. I had mine done, and I don't know how much I was eating beforehand because I never tracked my food. It would have been somewhere around 2,500 calories. It was a lot of food. And I was put on 1,400 calories, which is a huge deficit to go into straight away. And you know, that can be okay sometimes if it's short term. But I went on this and I was on like 45 grams of fat, which in my opinion is too low for a woman, because fats take care of our hormones and make sure we have happy hormones. So I was weight training 6 days a week. I was eating fuck all calories, not enough fat, and what happened was I got really skinny, but I had my body fat percentage done and I was still 20%, but I looked like this. Really too skinny, no muscle. I was like burning through muscle because I was in such a big caloric deficit, and for so long I wasn't taking diet breaks. My skin got really bad and I lost my period. These are all signs of a really unhealthy way to lose fat. It was also not sustainable. I couldn't eat that little amount of food and maintain that body fat percentage, or not that I wanted to be 20%, I wanted to be leaner but look, you know, sculpted and defined and strong. That was the look I've always been going for. So I then at the end of that year moved to Sydney. This brings us to 2017. Got a new coach. I was just kind of stuck on 1,600 calories. I'd gained more fat back after being on such low cal, and then I was just stuck. Nothing was happening. I was so frustrated. I got to the point again where I was like, okay, you know, I've lost some fat, I've changed my body a lot. Maybe this is it for me. Maybe this is as far as I'll ever be able to take it. Maybe I just don't have the body type to get to where I want to be. And I was dying for answers. Like, it was really important to me to be able to answer these questions. So I did a lot of research in Sydney to find a really fucking good coach and a really good company and gym that knows what they're talking about and that's reputable. That's when I found Clean Health Fitness Institute, and shit changed. So much changed. So I got my coach, Jason, and transformed my body in 8 weeks. So I went from this to this, and that was in 8 weeks. And then after the 12 weeks looked like this. And since then I've had like a few transformations, just because every time I've had a transformation, I swear I've gone overseas. I honestly have. Or I've gone to Melbourne and I've gone through a breakup. And that's why I've never been able to maintain that exact transformation. So I've had quite a few transformations. Last year I had like 3. And then obviously my biggest one was when I decided to compete in a bikini competition. So that was easily the hardest work I've put in and the most incredible physique I've ever created for myself. From everything I experienced and everything I learned, I created my own business on health and fitness, and I've been educating myself to be able to help women who've experienced what I have, or who have come from like every different journey. I want to impact women and help them get to a point where they're really happy with their bodies. So that's why I quit my job last year. I started my own business, and that kind of brings me to today, which is 2019, and I will be competing again maybe 2 times this year, continuing to push my body and push it to its limits and see what I can do, because I thoroughly enjoy it. I love applying myself and seeing the results and seeing what worked and seeing what didn't. That's kind of my journey to date with health and fitness. So the biggest kind of takeaways from this video I want you guys to take is not everyone's journey is linear. Like, you see a lot of before and afters, you don't see the stuff in between. Like, I have gone through years and years of frustrations of not finding the right coach or nutrition advice, just kind of figuring it out myself, and then finding people that educate you and help you and teach you and know a lot about what's going on with the body. I am going to do some follow-up videos talking about hormones and how to actually lose fat and keep it off. That's going to be my YouTube channel moving forward, and the occasional haul and holiday. So that's kind of it. Oh, maybe that wasn't as long as I thought it was gonna be. I kind of skimmed through a lot of things, but if there are things you guys want me to go into more detail about, let me know in the comments, please, because if you guys tell me what content you want to see, you're actually going to want to watch it, and it's going to help you. So that's a win-win for both of us. I feel like you guys are going to ask what it was we actually did to get my transformation after I was like struggling so much. So I will do a YouTube on that. Just wanted to chat to you guys about my journey and where I've come from, because I didn't always look like this. I've worked hard to change my body and educate myself. I feel like I'm waffling on now because I don't know how to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my transformation journey. I told you it was like this. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the videos. Give the video a like. Show me if you like this content so I can keep doing good, relevant content that helps you guys. So that is all from me. Actually felt quite vulnerable putting this video out there, but then when I started talking, it was just like blah, 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 blah. So, alright, I'm gonna stop. Just stop. I'll chat to you guys really soon. Mwah. Bye.